Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, and as usual, we're doing our Instagram Live, but actually today we have a little bit of a change going. David, who usually joins us, is not going to be present today, but I still thought that we should have a live, as we missed one last week as I was doing the training with the Tom Ferry. And I would like to use this opportunity today to actually talk to you about the market and update you as buyers, as sellers, and as real estate agents with what is going on the market. So number one thing that we should pay attention this week is the fact that the Las Vegas metropolitan area housing statistics came out for the month of July. And what can we see in the month of July? We once again see the limited inventory. Our inventory is at 4,395 units in July. These are single family residences and townhouses included. And so our number of available single-family residence homes in the month of July was 3,524 homes, which is lower than in the month of June. It is 4.2% lower. And the number of condominiums and townhouses is also lower than in the month of June, which was 6.3% lower. So that should tell you that our resale inventory is shrinking, and there are fewer and fewer sellers who are actually coming to the market, which is normal, because the stagnation is caused by the lower interest rates that these sellers actually managed to obtain through the purchasing or the refinancing during the pandemic. And those sellers who are holding right now the lower interest rates on their mortgages are less motivated to actually push their properties or set their properties on the market for sale. However, for those of you who are actually still seeking to buy a house or who are relocating to Nevada, you do need to know this. Even though our inventory is short, it's only 2 months of available inventory, but those sellers who are actually on the market right now, they're highly motivated sellers. And what I mean by highly motivated sellers is the fact that those sellers are actually, they have the life circumstances that are causing them to sell the property. So it could be their relocation for work, it could be the change in their familial status, and there could be multiple life events that are actually causing those people to sell. And what it gives to you as a buyer, it gives to you an advantage to actually ask the seller for concessions, and especially concessions like the closing costs. Why would you do that? That would be your number one way how to lower the interest rate, how to buy down the interest rate. So for those of you who are still considering to buy or to move over to Las Vegas metropolitan area, there are plenty of sellers on the market that are actually willing to work with you guys and help you out with different with the closing costs. So that is number one. Number two, where else do we get the inventory? We do get the inventory from the new home builders, and the number of sales that is registered with the new home builders is constantly increasing. Right now, we are like 30% of our sales are the new home builder sales. Why is that happening? First of all, because there are plenty of builders that either have the inventory or have the inventory coming up. So there's plenty of builders that have the 30 days, 60 days to close inventory. When we work with those builders, one of the things that you need to know is that number one, you would want to have the representation when you go to those builders. Builders are not going to give you a discount on their sales price just because you're not using an agent. Number two, the agent, the salesperson that that you are meeting at the new home site, they represent builder exclusively. So you will be signing the form that actually states that that agent is not going to represent you or your interest. Of course, they owe the fiduciary duties to you, but as the practice shows that most of the time they're only going to interact with you only when they have to and before the signing of the contract. Once you sign the contract, you're on your own, and you're actually on your own to deal with the contract that could go anywhere between 20 to 200 pages long, and it will be up to you to read through that contract and to understand what are your rights and what are the liabilities of that contract. Number two, what you need to know about the new home builders, they have different, they structure their business differently. So there are home builders that actually have the standing inventory, and first they build a house, they spec the houses out, and then they sell them. And then there are builders who are actually first get you into the contract, and then you pick the lot and you get to build your home. So as you would see that the timeline on the closing would be different between the standing inventory, which could be closed within 30 to 60 days, to you could be 8, 9, 10 months out before you can move into your home. When this happens, one thing that you need to know, you have to be very careful, especially if you are financing the home. You have to be very careful, and you have to think about your interest rates, because what the interest rates are right now, they might not be the same by the time your house is going to close. Now, can you lock the interest rate right now? Yes and no. It is strictly up to you at which point of time you want to lock your interest rate, and this is what you would need your realtor and your lender and sit down and talk to them and actually learn all the advantages and disadvantages of potentially locking the interest rate 7, 8, 10 months before the purchase is actually completed, because you cannot complete the purchase or close, what we call, on the property until it is finished, until it is completed and the construction is done. But that said, one thing that I really, really want to stress on for those buyers who are on the market right now. First of all, when you're looking for this brand new home, it is harder to look for it because there's no such a thing as one common system or one common tool that is going to show you the inventory of the builder's inventory, or to show you all the builders. And there's no such a thing as an updated tool. We realtors, we actually have this new home source tool, which is never ever accurate. And in order to maximize your benefit when you're buying a brand new home from the builder, one thing you want to do, you want to call the realtor who actually knows the area, who knows all the builders, all the construction sites, and the one who actually knows the specials that are going on. Right now we have a vast majority, a huge variety of builders who are offering you different incentives. And when I'm talking about incentives, I can tell you that I had a closing yesterday. It was a 45-day closing, so we went into the contract actually in the middle of July, and we closed with the interest rate below 6. We closed with the interest rate of 5.75. And we did it only because we were able to negotiate with the builder. So our total negotiated discount from the builder actually exceeded $50,000. And yes, that discount was split between the interest rate level and the price discount. Now you have to know how to negotiate with the builders. Different builders are negotiating in a different way. Also, there are certain properties that the builders actually offer, and those properties can be subject to a larger discount, but this is something that is done through the research. Definitely builders agents are not very upfront with telling you that there is a certain discount going on for this or that property. So my advice to you, if you're looking, whether you're looking for the resale home or the new home, go ahead and contact a professional agent who is going to assist you with the information, who's going to assist you to understand which builder, where do they build, how does the process of the purchase with the new builder is actually different from the process of purchasing and resale. This is extremely important. You do not pay for the buyer's representation, at least right this moment. I mean, like this year, we're still, the buyer's representation is actually still covered by the seller. And remember, the builder is not going to give you a discount just because you're not using a buyer's agent. The only thing that you're going to gain is actually the lack of representation if you do not use the buyer's agent. So for all of you, I strongly encourage you to actually have the buyer's agent before you enter the new home site. Now, another thing that you guys need to know is that there are plenty of great deals right now, even in this very unconventional, very interesting market. There's plenty of things that and plenty advantages that you can take as the buyer on the buyers while buying the property right now in today's market, even though the interest rates are extremely high. But what you need to know is that it is not right to minimize your search to only new homes or only resales. You should hire a professional real estate agent to actually explain to you all the benefits of the new home or all the benefits of the resale. There are totally different calculations that are made in terms of how much it will cost you to close on the resale home and how much it's going to cost you to close on a brand new home. Once again, hire a licensed professional who will help you to understand those numbers, who will help you compare, and who will help you go through the process and negotiate even even with the builder. Most of the time when you walk into the new builder's office, you will hear that the builders don't negotiate, you take what it is, which is completely not true. We have plenty of examples, and we will actually be posting the videos demonstrating those real life examples where you guys can see what we did and how we got and what kind of discounts we got from the builders, including the price discounts, including the closing cost discounts, and the interest rate discounts. So that is for our buyers. Now, you guys, for the buyers, you need to know that our resale homes are down. Like I said, the new home sales are increasing. The resale home sales are actually, the number of those sales is decreasing. And we had 2,651 units total sold in July, which is quite low. And we're talking about the our sales are almost our sales are down, so we're selling fewer homes. Also, you can tell that there are fewer investors on the market right now. It is mostly an owner-occupied market, and only a quarter of all of the sales were the cash sales. The majority of sales still continue to be the financed sales, And for those of you who are searching financing and is actually concerned about the high interest rates, I strongly encourage you to talk to a professional loan officer. Usually we have one in our live sessions, but he's busy today. But anyways, if you need a referral to a professional loan officer, I will be happy to provide you with one. This is what my phone number is for. This is what the DMs are for. So feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to assist you finding the proper loan officer that is going to fit your needs. And yes, please be aware that in today's market, one thing that is happening is that a lot of times we have to shop around with different sellers, different ways of selling the home, and you might not be able to use, or not be able, you can always use your lender when you're buying a brand new home, but there are tremendous benefits of using these lenders from the new home builders. Once again, there are plenty of home builders that will honor their discounts or their incentives if you cannot qualify with their builders lenders. So that is something that your real estate agent can help you with, and this is the information that we check up front, and this is the information that we negotiate for. So if you ask me, what do you hire your buyer's agent for? You hire them for the representation, you hire them for the negotiations, and to save you time and money. And guys, it is extremely important because the most valuable source that you have is your time and then the money. And right now we have a lot of builders who are trying to actually sell off their standing inventory, and there are huge discounts and there are best deals that could be found. You just need to know how to negotiate and how to look for those. So this is what concerns the buyer's market. For the sellers, to all of our sellers, I would like to remind you that we are in the market of increasing interest rates. So obviously, if you follow the market, you would see that the interest rates actually increased within the months of July. So they were lower at the beginning, and they're higher at the end of July. They're still the interest rates are still creeping up, which is not really helping and motivating the buyers to actually jump on the sales. And the rents are very, very affordable here in Las Vegas. So for those of you who have their homes on the market, one thing that I would remind you is that almost like more than 80% of the homes and townhomes and condos were sold in the first 60 days. And I know that we've been spoiled with the pandemic market. We've been spoiled with a lot of rushed markets, but 60 to 90 days was actually our average in a normal market. And when we're talking normal market, we're going back to pre-pandemic years, which was 2019. So please do not worry, do not freak out if it takes your house more than 60 days to get under the contract. Yes, buyers are very picky right now. Buyers are going to ask you to contribute towards their closing costs, so they would have the opportunity to buy down the interest rate. So for those of you with your homes on the market, all I'm asking you to do is be patient and B, really prepare your property for that buyer. So please do the repairs, please do the touch-ups, make sure that your property looks the best, and remember that having the highest price or increasing the price or hoping for the highest price possible is not the best strategy right now in the market. Price your house right, have it in a proper condition, have it cleaned, have it decluttered, and that will help you to sell your house properly. If you're ready to contribute any of the closing costs to the buyers, also let the buyers know about it. Let the buyers and agents know about it. Obviously, the number one choice of the properties that the buyers are going to look at is going to be the properties that where sellers are willing to make some concessions towards the buyer's closing costs. And so that's important. Another thing that I would like to discuss today and to talk about is going to be the information for the agents. And it is extremely important for the newer agents to hear this information. Actually, for all the agents, if you're representing the buyers, if you ever represented the buyers and plan on representing the buyers in the future, there are some things that you need to know. And number one thing that you need to know is actually the two class action lawsuits that are going on against the NAR, and those are the class action lawsuits that are potentially going to affect how the buyer's agents are being compensated. So if you are not aware of those lawsuits, I strongly encourage you to either ask your broker or to ask our beloved friend Google what those lawsuits are. And one of them is moral against NAR, with the trial date in sometime in 2024, and the other one is actually Burnett versus NAR. So those are the two lawsuits that you should be following and that you should be aware of. What are those lawsuits are all about? So those are the sellers versus the National Association of Realtors, and among the it's the sellers against the National Association of Realtors against the bigger brokerages like Keller Williams, Remax, Berkshire Hathaway, and others. So why are we looking at those lawsuits? Those lawsuits can potentially change the industry, and they can change how the buyers' agents are getting compensated. So those lawsuits are actually want the NAR to set it as a rule that the buyers are supposed to pay buyer's agents commission. And right now, for those of you who doesn't know, but are on the call with me, so what happens is that right now the buyers are compensated by the seller. So buyer's commission is paid by the seller. And right now it doesn't matter how experienced your buyer's agent is, whether your buyer's agent just got the license yesterday or your buyer's agent has a decade of experience. It doesn't matter. Those agents are going to be compensated equally, but they're being compensated by the seller's broker. And it is the seller's broker responsibility to negotiate the commissions on both the buyer's agent side and their own side. So where the difficulty is going to come from? So first of all, it is a disruption of the industry the way we're used to see it. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Well, the disruption is going to happen, so we don't have a choice, and the changes are going to be made to the industry. So if those changes are coming, you're actually do not freak out, do not think that the world is going to fall apart. What you need to do, you actually need to understand what it means for you as the buyer's agent, what it means for you as an agent if you lack the experience, and how the industry is going to change. So for those of you who just started out, it's going to be a little bit harder because now you will have to negotiate your commissions with the buyer directly. Of course, it's going to be harder on the buyer because now not only they're going to pay their closing costs, they're going to pay their bank fees to buy that money from the bank and get the mortgage, but on top of it, they will have to compensate the buyer's agent for their services. And in order to be able to argue or to negotiate your commission, you actually have to have something behind you, such as an experience, the number of closed transactions, and other great traits that will help you actually help the buyer understand where is the value. And honestly, if you guys don't bring the value to the buyer in the transaction, then don't get upset. Don't feel like it is unfair that they're not going to pay you. At the end of the day, everybody in this world works for their sellers, works for their money, so it should not be different in the real estate transaction either. How it is going to disrupt our industry is the following way. Unfortunately now, for those of you guys who don't have the experience or who's just joining the industry, one of the things that you would be forced to do is you will be forced to join either the teams or either the teams with experienced agents and brokers, where you could be exposed to the transactions and where you can gain experience. And so that's think about it as the medical industry, where you have to intern for X amount of years before you can perform on yourself on your own. And no, I'm not saying that we're as important as doctors. Health is always very important, but I'm saying the fact that it will actually cost the industry to have more professionals. Probably a lot of people will choose to not to go with the flow and not to go through the changes of the industry, and they will give up their license, which is okay as well, because if you cannot adjust to the market, if you cannot adjust to the changes, and our industry is one of the industries where the changes are always happening, then it's probably not your industry. If you are looking for the no change and stagnant work, this is not about the real estate, and you probably should not be representing either the buyers nor the sellers, because things that worked for the market a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago are completely different from today's industry needs and buyers needs and sellers needs. So if you're not willing to change, maybe you should be looking into different career paths at this moment. But for those of you who are still encouraged and who are still going to make it in this industry, I would say do not wait for the 2024. Start working on your profiles right now. Start seeking for into those brokerages where you could be joining the teams, where you could be joining the brokerages and gain your experience before the 2024, when the first lawsuit action, class action lawsuit, will be finished. Another lawsuit, the second one, which is Burnett versus NAR. So Burnett versus NAR is actually the court date is set for October 16th, and I'm pretty sure that it will be closely watched by the industry. And the reason for it is that even though it is only going to be applied, the decision of this court will only apply to the MLSs, some of the MLSs in Missouri. But what is important is it's going to kind of set the tone to what the bigger decision should be when we go to the bigger lawsuit that is going to affect the entire United States and the entire industry. And for those of you guys who are just starting out, for those of you who are just joining the industry, do look at those two lawsuits to get yourself familiar and start working on your on your professional resume, start working on your buyer's representation, and actually start training and articulating better to your buyers what do you bring to the table when it comes to your service, when it comes to your representation of the buyer. And I think that it is going to be a very interesting thing, and it's going to actually improve the industry, because if your agent cannot articulate and cannot negotiate for themselves to begin with, guess what? If your agent is not a negotiator and is not a fighter, then there will be no negotiation from them on your behalf. So this is where you're going to, as a buyer, you're going to see whether you should be or should not be using that particular agent. So that's number one. Number two, the buyers are going to be more picky and they're going to be more sophisticated, and most likely we will split into streams, just like we did with the sellers, because right now, guys, before all of those websites came into the industry, like before Zillow could sell homes, before Open Door could sell homes, and Redfin could sell homes, there used to be only listing agents and for sale by owners. They always existed. Then we had the websites that came over and offered the discounted services. Did they disrupt the industry? Yes, absolutely they did. But what also they did, they actually proved to the majority of sellers that there is value in what the rest of the experienced and professional real estate agents do for you, and that actually helped the industry to raise the standards. And there will always be discounted service, there will always be a flat fee service, but this is where you get exactly what you paid for. And so those of you who accepted the offers from like Zillow, Open Door, or those of you who worked with the Redfin agent, and those of you who actually shared their experiences, you know the difference. You can feel the difference. So when you are, and you don't have to wait for those lawsuits to actually come through. You should start picking your buyer's agents and actually interviewing your buyer's agents right now. And this is a great practice, because I don't think that if you were going for brain surgery, you would just pick the first, pick the first surgeon on Google, or you would just walk into the first hospital and ask them if there is a brain surgeon. You would do your research. And believe me, owning a house, this is a decision that is going to affect your family, to affect your budget, to affect your financial statement for quite a while. So when you are looking to buy a house, make sure that you thoroughly interview the buyer's agent and that you actually pick who you're going to work with. How would you do that? You would definitely need to look at the reviews and the experience of the agent. Zillow is one of the greatest tools for it, even though a lot of people actually don't like the Zillow. But I would say one of the things that Zillow gives you pretty quickly is the information on how long the agent has been in the industry. Now, of course, it doesn't mean like if it says that the agent has been doing it for 30 years, it does not mean that they are great. Look at the number of transactions. Second thing that you're going to look at is the number of transactions that they have done. So if they had the license for 30 years, but they only have done like 2 or 3 transactions, it doesn't mean that they're doing it full time. So it might not be your agent. Those experienced agents, if they lived in the area for 30 years, they might be really good, you might give them a chance to actually tell you about different areas of town. But once again, if they're not active on the market, if they're not actively closing, then I would not hope as a buyer, that they would be on top of their game and that they would know everything, the latest and the edgy stuff that is going on. One of the reasons why we're so great with our buyers is especially the relocation buyers. My relocation buyers, they call me and they have no idea. Some of them never visited Las Vegas. Some of them visited Las Vegas for a few days and stayed on the strip. So they have no slightest idea what it is, what kind of areas we have, what are the advantages and disadvantages of different areas. And it is through the interview process and through the navigation of the market where I can talk to those buyers and actually understand them, understand their lifestyle, and take them to the areas that will fit their needs, will fit their lifestyle. And of course, you can do it, you can do it a long way or you can do it a proper way. So the long way is that absolutely you can, you can waste your time and you can drive around and learn about every single area of Las Vegas. You can also try actually buying in different areas or renting out in different areas and do it through the trial and error. See if you like the area of Las Vegas or not. But I suggest that you work with the professional agents who knows the areas, who knows the lifestyle, who knows what those areas get to offer. We're an amazing town. We actually have over here, we service 4 different areas. We have Clark County, we have Las Vegas, we have North Las Vegas, we have Henderson, and we have Boulder City. So you really need to know the difference between the 4. You need to be aware of how the lifestyles and how the amenities that each one of them are offering is going to differ. Also, you would want to be aware what the master planned communities are, because one of the ways Las Vegas and Henderson and our Las Vegas metropolitan area is one of the ways that we cater to our community is through building those different master planned communities. Those communities come with the tons of perks, but they're also the drawbacks to those communities, and only an experienced agent who worked with all of those communities can actually give you a breakdown and can help you justify which community of the master planned community is good for you. Because if you go and you join them and you buy into the master planned community, you're going to be subject to the fees, to the monthly fees, quarterly fees, could be semi-annually fees. So there could be a lot of fees associated with the ownership of the property, and unless it is justified for you, for your family, for your lifestyle, you shouldn't be buying into those communities if you're not going to use and you're not going to enjoy the amenities that they offer. So find the agent who can actually explain to you and break down to you all of those amenities and all of those perks of every single community that you are considering, and then you will make an educated decision whether it is worth it for you or not worth it for you to actually buy in a certain master planned community. Also, when you're looking at the agent, and if it happens so that you're relocating, you don't know anybody in town, which is not a problem, and you cannot get a referral from friends and family, one of the things that you can do, you can look at the agent's reviews. Now, I would strongly encourage you to be careful with that, because there's plenty of companies out there, and as a business owner myself, I know it pretty well. I got a DM every single day into my Instagram, into my mailbox, actually offering me fake Google reviews, fake reviews on any of the platforms, and I believe that Google has done a tremendous job of making sure that those fake people are not being posted, which actually hurts us a little bit from the standpoint where Google is trying to check whether people are real or not, and we face it a lot with our customers when they write the review, but the review is not getting posted because it is getting actually flagged by Google, even though it's a real review. But Google is really good to check the reviews. Zillow is really good to check the reviews of the realtor. I wouldn't say Yelp, and I don't mean to be unfair to Yelp, but remember, Yelp is a paid platform, so through the fact that this platform is actually a commercial platform, you can influence as the person who pays, like as the business. If you pay to Yelp, you can influence the reviews that are being posted or not posted on Yelp. So I wouldn't completely rely on Yelp for the reviews, but Google, Zillow, yes. Also, if there are any video reviews, remember it would be tremendous amount of work, and it would be very, very hard for people to actually come up with the video reviews, because video reviews usually come from the actual clients and they're hard to fake. So look for the video reviews from the clients. It could be on the agent's website, it could be on the agent's social media. Do look at the agent's social media, do interview the agents. And I understand that most of us work different hours, and if you don't have the ability, let's say, if you don't have the ability to interview the agent just because, let's say you work on the East Coast and you get off work late so that it's not a proper timing or it's not business hours anymore to call the agent, or vice versa. If you live on the West Coast and trying to move to the East Coast, one of the things that you can do is you can go onto the agent's social media and actually look and see what those agents are posting. Are they actually posting the news on the market? Are they on top of their numbers? Are they on top of what is going on in their local marketplace? Are they talking to you? Like, do you feel the knowledge? Do you see the video reviews from their potential, like from their past clients? Can you relate to anything that is posted on their social media? Can you actually figure out the character of the person that you're about to work with or that you're trying to interview? Another thing that you can do is actually one of the first steps that you can do is that if you're moving, if you're relocating, you can ask your current agent, your home agent, if they have a referral. Now, it's not necessarily that those agents will have a referral, but if you have a great agent that is working with you in your town, in your city, one of the things that can possibly be is that if the agent is improving all the time, their skills, and they're actually on top of their market, they will belong to a certain network. Let's say for myself, I belong to Tom Ferry network of training and coaching, and the reason I am doing it is not only to improve myself, but also to have the exposure and to know some of the best leading agents in the industry in all the 50 states. And it is very often that I get a call from my clients who might be wanting to buy or sell something out of state, and instead of actually going and spending their time and looking for the agent in some other state, they would call me and they would ask me to interview a few agents on their behalf, because they know my standards. They know I'm pretty confident what the good agent is supposed to portray. So they would rather ask me to interview and to find the agents for them. Once again, it is free of charge. So as the as the client, you don't need to worry that your agent will be interviewing the other agents. So I am happy to do it all the time for my clients, to interview agents and to pick and propose like 2 or 3 candidates, maybe like one who is really outstanding to my clients, so they could use somebody out of state or use somebody in a different state. I'm happy to do so, and I'm pretty sure that if you're looking for the buyer's agent in a different state, your current agent, wherever you are, can help you out with that. And I think that this is pretty amazing. So you just outsource the process of interviewing to the ones who know the best. Well, what else should I tell you about? So that's probably should conclude our live for today. Once again, thank you so much for joining me on today's live. If you're an agent in Las Vegas, Nevada, if you're a licensed professional, you're looking to get your license, do feel free to give me a call or DM me, because we still have 2 spots open on our team in Nevada Realty Experts, and we're the type of a brokerage that provides you leads, education, and actually helps you to establish your business. So if you're one of those agents who is currently specializing mostly in buyers, you will find it extremely beneficial to work with us. If you are an experienced agent and just looking for a friendly, easygoing environment and low fees for the brokerage, you're more than welcome to give me a call and interview with me. We're not type of a huge brokerage where everybody runs on their own, but we're the type of brokerage that actually provides us tremendous support. If you are, hi Gavin, if you are if you're looking to interview other brokers and to join other brokerages, we actually encourage you to give me a call. My number is always at the top of my Instagram profile. You can DM me, you can call me. If you or anybody you know are actually looking to buy, sell, or relocate to the Las Vegas metropolitan area, I will be happy to represent your friends and to assist them with my team. We're actively pursuing the buyers and the sellers right now, and we're happy to represent you, whether you are going for the resale homes or the new home builders. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday, and we see you soon. As usual, you can post your questions in the comments below this live once it is posted, or send your questions to us through the DMs. Thank you, and you have a wonderful week.